So, K-pop Demon Hunter sure is a popular movie. Really popular, in fact. It is arguably the biggest movie of 2025. It's the biggest Netflix movie ever. And unlike most movies, I feel like its popularity is only growing the farther we get from its release. This has kind of become like a big cultural staple in the 2020s and will probably stay that way for quite a while. So, of course, I watched it, and my hope was to be wowed in the same way that the world was. Unfortunately, I was a little disappointed. Not that it's a bad movie, it is pretty good. First off, the animation is very good. It uses some of the techniques originated in Spider-Verse, but it doesn't use the exact same art style. Also, it's funny, and the characters are charming, but I did have some problems with it, mainly with the writing. I'm just gonna say that this is not like a review of K-pop Demon Hunters entirely. This is just me talking about the specific problem I had with this film's writing that I haven't seen other people really mention. I don't know what I'm supposed to think about the demons by the end of this film. And I don't know what the film wants me to think about them. So at the beginning of this movie, it's established that there are demons in this world, they're evil, and they're held back with the power of magic singing. Okay, sure. The concept is obviously a little silly, but I've seen sillier things. This is a perfectly fine concept for a movie. And therefore, the first act of this movie is pretty simple, and I don't have many problems with the writing. The demons are evil because they are demons, and the K-pop demon hunters hunt them because they hunt demons. It's not a particularly complicated conflict, it's just something that happens because demons are evil, and we don't need to inherently, explain the relationship on a more sophisticated level because demons are just evil. Demons are allowed to be evil. I have no problem with pure evil species in fiction media. They're not always the most compelling, but again, they're fine. And then we get introduced to her inner conflict, which is that Rumi is half demon, and therefore she feels like a monster. So far, all of this is fine. These are tropes I've seen before, but they're good tropes, and they're done in a compelling way in this movie. And at this point in the film, I didn't have any real confusion on what I was supposed to feel about these things. But this kind of changes when Rumi meets Genu, who is a demon, and learns that demons are not as simple as they initially appear. Demons aren't just creatures of pure evil that are just bad for the sake of being bad. Demons used to be humans, but they're controlled by the big fire demon, Guima. He uses their guilt for whatever they did in their life that fills them with guilt and anguish, and he basically uses that to control them. They're pawns, essentially. They're kind of like slaves in a way. They didn't choose this life, they were forced into it. In other words, demons aren't inherently evil. It's the big fire demon, Guima, that's kind of forcing the species and trying to invade Earth all the time. And understandably, this information kind of changes the way Rumi views demons. She starts bonding with Juji. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these Korean names wrong. Juji gets his redemption arc. Everything's good, right? Except here's the thing. The view of this movie on demons doesn't really change as a whole regardless of this information. Oh, don't get me wrong. Our view on Juji specifically as a character changes. He gets his character arc because he was just being manipulated by his guilt. It's all fine. But you know who doesn't get any sort of like attempt at redemption or even solace or anything like that? Literally every single other demon in this entire film. The movie just kind of ends with them banishing every demon, and then they kind of just celebrate and the movie's over. And it feels really strange to me. Juji's dead too, so we don't really get to address his growth in any real meaningful way after this whole conflict is over. So just to summarize the information this movie gives us, demons are not inherently evil. They are evil because of this one big demon that kind of guilts them and forces them into being evil. But other than that one guy, demons are just like people. They have their own personalities, their own desires. I mean, they are people. They're literally dead people. Except, no, actually, demons are apparently pure evil creatures that deserve to be murdered and that should be killed on sight, and banishing their entire species to the demon realm or whatever is a net positive on the world with no repercussions that should even be discussed. Does anyone not think these ideals kind of directly conflict with each other? Because to be clear, after they banished all the demons as an entire species, the movies just end. They never go, oh, you know, it just has to be this way, or, you know, maybe this is best for everyone. You know, demons are a little more complicated, but we have to send them home for now. They just banish them all, and then the movie's over, and there's just no elaboration. And my point now is, by the end of the movie, what am I, as an audience member, supposed to think about the demons? Are they misunderstood creatures that are kind of like victims in their own right? Or are they actually just inherently evil and, you know, killing them on sight is the right thing to do, always? And this is even stranger when you think about Rumi's main inner conflict. She is half demon, and that is a very big, and that is like her main inner conflict in the movie, because from her perspective, she's basically half evil demon monster. And I thought it was kind of obvious this problem was going to be fixed, because we learned that demons aren't inherently evil, and therefore she doesn't literally have evil in her genetics. Of course, that doesn't need to be what happens. She could just be raised good, but that was the way I thought it was going to present itself based off how all the information was being given out. Except again, at the end of the movie, we kind of just say, fuck all demons. But not Rumi, I guess. And that just makes the scenes really weird. Like the scene where the other K-pop demon hunters learn that Rumi is in fact half demon. When you watch the scene during the movie, it feels like they're turning against their friend because they were trained to hate demons inherently. So they're kind of acting this way because of their own bias and bigotry, in a sense. It's kind of turning them against their friend. But when you actually analyze it against the end of the movie, where demons are just as a whole banished, it kind of feels like the end of the movie is agreeing with the other two K-pop demon hunters. Like according to the end of the, like, they are the ones in the right, and according to this movie, they are 100% in the right for turning their back on their friend and threatening to kill her, because she's half evil, and they are the ones that are, like, morally justified in this situation. Which is really weird, and I guess the reason that they're not is just because she's not a full demon, But if she was, then they'd be morally correct. I feel like the end of this movie and the way the plot goes inherently conflicts with the emotions I assume I'm supposed to be feeling with this scene, which is that Rumi should not be ostracized right now. But if you actually look at the plot points, she should be. And then you think about Juji, which has been pretty bad this whole time. He's been helping with the evil fire guy. I can't fucking remember their stupid names. This whole time. And yet he is a good guy by the end. I mean, he dies, so we don't actually have to acknowledge the consequences of redeeming a demon, because that would be too complicated for this movie, and they probably have to address some of the story issues I'm bringing up. But still, by the end of this movie, we are supposed to think positively of that specific character, even though he is 100% demon and has been benefiting the invasion of the big fire guy for a large part of this movie. And in the end, it kind of feels like the movie is saying demons are all bad except for these two exceptions. There are two very specific exceptions, and that is just because I guess they're like charming and likable and appealing to the public, I guess. And what about the cat demon and the bird demon? At the end of the movie, they get to stay, unlike literally every single other demon. But like, why? What the fuck did they do to not get banished? They were helping the demon invasion this whole time. All they've been doing is helping the demon invasion. They haven't actually like helped the cause to save the world or anything like that. But yet they don't get banished, unlike the entire rest of their species. And it's because this isn't interested in like actual characters or anything like that. They just like these demons in particular because they're cute. And they are cute. But like, why are they here? They didn't do shit. They didn't help. And we're really gonna banish the whole species, but we can keep the cat? Are you fucking kidding me? This movie is just so inconsistent in all of its themes. Also, there's the whole song Takedown, which they sing about how much they hate demons so much, but then they're like, oh no, we can't sing this song, it's too mean and nasty to all the demons. We don't want to be like that, except you still banished an entire species. What is this movie on about? I know this video is pretty nasty and it sounds like I fucking hate this movie, but I really don't. Keep in mind, this is just a video about my main grievances with K-pop Demon Hunters. It's still pretty decent. I mean, the animation is great, the jokes are funny, characters are charming, and the songs are mostly pretty good and catchy. So I mean, yeah, it's a decent movie. It just doesn't really make sense if you think about it at all, and I haven't seen anybody else mention it, so I felt like I needed to make this video. K-pop Demon Hunters, I don't know, 6 out of 10? Like and subscribe, and 2026, let's go.